All right, welcome back, everybody, to Wuhan, and we got pretty big day today. Quarterfinal day for the ladies, and quarterfinal day in Shanghai for the men. The second half of the quarterfinals. We know that tournament's taking forever, but we're starting to get I love 1 week Masters, and I'm never gonna. It's going to take me a long time to figure out if 2 week Masters are. What's the benefit besides, lower ranked players getting a boost, which is great for them. But man, I love these top 10 matches. We get them quarterfinals. We got 2 top 10 matches today, and we had 1 yesterday. So, we had 2 that were like 3 versus 11, right? Like crazy. We've had some crazy matches this week, and this is one of them. Sabalenka versus Rybakina. It's been an epic match over the time. It's a preview into what we might see in Riyadh at the end of the year to the WTA Finals, because these 2 ladies one of them's qualified, the other one's trying to qualify. Later today, we've got Swiatek taking on Paolini, another top 10 clash. I mean, it is just awesome at the moment. So, love to see it. These 2 have played 12 times, 7-5. Sabalenka leads. Rybakina won their last match that was in Cincinnati. She demolished Sabalenka. 1-4. That's pretty convincing. So 1-4 was the last time they played. Also, they had that match in Berlin that was match point saving from Sabalenka. This is a really weird rivalry because the first 4 matches they played, it was all Sabalenka. Then Rybakina won 2 matches in a row, and then since then it's been on, one off. So since 2023, when Rybakina won in Beijing, it's been Sabalenka, Rybakina, and they've been alternating ever since. So that's where we're at the moment. It should have probably been 3 in a row for Rybakina. Madrid last year as well went to a tiebreak third set. Sabalenka won. So the 2 matches Sabalenka's won recently have been final set tiebreaks. So Rybakina could have been on a 5-match win streak in this rivalry, but Sabalenka clutched it. So yeah, Rybakina knows how to beat Sabalenka. She demolished her a couple weeks ago. Some of the most one-sided matchups in this rivalry have been to Rybakina. Cincinnati, 1-4. Last year in Brisbane, 11-3. So Sabalenka's only ever beaten Rybakina in 3 sets. Rybakina has gone on to demolish Sabalenka in some of these matchups. Winner of this will play Pegula. So no matter what, we're getting a top 10 clash there tomorrow in the semis. Pegula just, sneaking through. No one's really mentioning her name this week because there's just so many players, but she's getting through. And I think if Paolini and Rybakina lose today, Pegula will qualify for Riyadh. So I think if results go her way, then things should be Pegula could qualify by the end of the day. All right. All right. Rybakina has won 3 of their last hardcourt meetings as well. Yeah. Crazy. This should be an epic for sure. Oh, yeah. When these 2... not that long ago, like probably post-Australian Open final when they played, everybody was thinking it's Swiatek, Rybakina, Sabalenka, big 3, right? Rybakina was considered sort of the third of that group. Obviously, Gauff's kind of put her name into that big 3. Again, I hate big 3, but I hate the name big 3. But like, she's kind of become that third player. But Rybakina, very dangerous. In terms of top 10, if I look at the top 10, besides Keys winning a slam this year, Rybakina is probably the most accomplished player Grand Slam-wise. Am I missing anybody? She's made what? She's made 2 finals. 2 finals. She's been very good at Wimbledon, making a bunch of semis there. Obviously has a Grand Slam. She could be, had she not been injured so much in the recent years, she could have easily been up there with Coco and, Swiatek and Sabalenka is one of those, one of the most, reliable Grand Slam players, but she's just been getting injured, so. At her best, Rybakina is definitely one of the best. Oh, yeah. She is so scary. All right. But here we go. Can Rybakina take out Sabalenka again? And keep her WTA Finals hopes alive? Because I'll tell you what, if Rybakina wins the title, she won't have qualified, but she will put herself into number 6. If Paolini wins the title, she'll also be number 6. It's funny because it says here, and I guess the math is math, but there's only what, 4 spots left? 3 spots left, 4 players left, right? So apparently, according to the live rankings, nobody out behind Rybakina can get to the finals. I guess Alexandrova's not playing next week. Maybe that's why. But Alexandrova, yeah, she's ineligible. But she could be the number, she could be the number 2 alternate. But yeah, it's pretty much between Rybakina, Paolini, and Andreeva for the final spots. So 2 spots up for grabs, 3 players in contention. And this week it's all a bit been about Rybakina, Paolini kind of going back and forth. Whoever's going to win the most is going to take that number 8 spot. But remember, next week they're both playing next week and the week after. So there's still plenty of points on the line. Which is stressful for those who need the points. So for Andreeva, for example, I mean, she, unfortunately, not having some great results recently. I mean, we thought she'd be a sure thing, but she has to either hope that, especially this week because it's out of her hands, hope that Paolini and Rybakina lose today, so at least gives her a little bit of a buffer. But now she's been forced to play next week, so Andreeva's got to play next week in Ningbo, along with Paolini, Rybakina, and then Andreeva hasn't been put on the list for Tokyo, but if she needs the 500 points and Rybakina and Paolini are playing in Tokyo, she's going to have to play that too, and get a wild card or something, because if she doesn't do well in Ningbo and Rybakina and Paolini do, Andreeva could be the one missing out, which is crazy to think that, because Andreeva was she's been like top 5 all year in the WTA Finals race. So yeah, Andreeva losing this week really did put her at big risk. Pegula, though, if she qualifies, I read somewhere today that if Pegula qualifies, she's going to get out of all the tour, because Pegula's in next week's event and the week after. But if Pegula qualifies, she's going to withdraw from everything and get ready for the WTA Finals, which is totally fine. That's what everyone's doing, right? If you're qualified, you're not playing the next few weeks. You're going to wait until the end of the year. So, but yeah, Andreeva, Paolini, and Rybakina are all they're the 3 players that are playing for those last spots. And if both Paolini and Rybakina win today, then again, it's the gap closes between them and Andreeva, because Andreeva's obviously not here. She lost. All right, I'm gonna go Rybakina 3. I reckon Rybakina's gonna win. All right, love 15. Sabalenka 4 the 4 of Rybakina, or Rybakina hits it out 15-0. Hope Pegula qualifies. I've been watching the Players Box podcast. Nice. Why didn't Rybakina qualify if she has a Grand Slam? Because you have to win a Grand Slam in the calendar season. You can't win a Grand Slam 3 years ago and qualify. It depends on the 2025 season. As that goes out by Rybakina, 30-15. So yeah, if Rybakina and Paolini both lose today, I think Pegula qualifies. I think. All right, first serve's a fault from Sabalenka, second serve. Serving the back end of Rybakina, back into Sabalenka to the front of Rybakina. Into the forehand Sabalenka. Sabalenka gets wide. 30 all. 30 all. Can Medvedev win today? I hope not. God, I hope not. 30 all. God, I hope not. I hope he loses. And then I hope FAA loses and Rinderknecht loses and I hope Djokovic loses. I hope they all lose to Demonor. 30 all. As a return from back and it goes wide, 40-30. We're getting Nole FAA. Yeah, you want that, don't you, if you're a Djokovic fan? You're not going to admit it, but you're scared. You're so scared of Demonor. I can smell it. I can smell it. Oh, it's going to be FAA, Cam. It's not going to be Demon. It's going to be Felix. Yeah, you want that to be Felix because you think you're scared of Demon. Yeah, you're laughing, but I can tell the tears are real. The tears are real. You're pretending like you're laughing, but I know you're crying. You're like, yeah, you cry. You better be scared. All right, first game, 1-love. Sabalenka. Put your mortgages on Medvedev? No. All right, 1-love. Felix's matches is going to help me go to sleep. That's savage. All right. Rybakina serves. Forehand Sabalenka. Sabalenka on the net. And it's 15-love. As with a forehand from Rybakina into the backhand of Sabalenka. Rybakina volley. Sabalenka gets it. But Rybakina volleys it down. And then Sabalenka backhand winner. Nice from Sabalenka. 15-0. Three things are guaranteed in life. Death, taxes, and cam curses. I think you don't understand what that meaning is. That was a very good try at a joke. But unfortunately, it failed, and nobody thought it was funny. So, but good luck next time. Maybe get some comedy lessons or something. 15-0. As the return goes back into Rybakina. Backhand from Sabalenka into the forehand Rybakina. And Rybakina hits a win up. And it's 30-15. 30-15. All right, 30-0. By the way, Dutchie, if we get Felix Medvedev, I am not watching that. I refuse. That is, I can't believe. Oh my god! You've just pointed out that is it's not going to happen because Demonor's going to win, but that sucks. That could be a match that we have to endure. Oh my god! On these slow courts, oh my god. Oh, no. No shot. Come on, Demon. Come on, Demon. Oh, no. 40-30. As the return goes into the forehand of Rybakina, Sabalenka thought it was a fault. But Rybakina comes to the net, puts it away. It's 1-1. Oh, no. FAA versus Medi. Oh. Oh. We're not watching that. I'm telling you right now. We're not watching that. I refuse. Ah, 1-0. Can't watch that match. You have to? I don't have to do shit. You tell me I have to. Have to what? Have to what? What do I have to do? I have to what? I don't have to watch that match. 15 love. As we default, second serve. You have to watch that match. Yeah. Well, you're going to pay me $1,000 to watch it. I'll watch it. You pay me, I'll watch it. I'll watch that. You want that? You want that match? You want to see that match? I'll watch it. You got to pay me though. That's 4 hours. 4 hours of grinding, slow, time violation tennis. Send you $5 American as a deposit, and then the $995 on the day. Like, what are you like? What? There's no payment plan, so you're gonna have to. So it's a $5 deposit, and then you're gonna pay the rest before the match starts. Otherwise, I'm not going live. Is that the? I mean, that would be, I'll go with that if you want. 15. Oh, I'm watching that. No way. I told you. When we watched that last time, I told you that we're never watching that matchup again. I don't care where it is. Backhand slice into the backhand of Sabalenka. Sabalenka's a winner. Thank God we got Wuhan tomorrow, so we're going to be watching that instead. So don't worry about it. $5 total, no deal. You have yourself a no deal. Not even close. By the way, Dean's going to win, so what are you even crying about? 30-15. 30-15. It's got a forehand rally. As the slice goes into the forehand of Rybakina. Backhand now from Sabalenka. And it goes long. 30-all. You don't like Medi? No. I like Medi. I don't like those guys playing each other. That matchup is horrible. It's slow. It's exhausting. And it's just not fun. It's just not a fun match. We've watched it too many times. We know. I'll never forget that match they played. Was it Rotterdam? I forgot. I blocked it out of my mind. You don't have faith in Rinderknecht? Nesh? Well, Dark Galaxy, I can't pick everyone to win because that's not how tennis works. I can't be like, well, I think the FAA and Rinderknecht are going to make the semis. Well, that's impossible. 30-all. Sabalenka gets 40-30. I can't pick everybody. Just because I don't pick one player doesn't mean I despise them. Just means I picked one player. It's not that deep. Why do you hate everybody? I don't. Sabalenka in the net. Deuce! Everyone wins. Everyone's a champion. Exactly. Everybody wins. Yay. Let's go. All right, Deuce. There's a default second serve. Second serve. As the return goes to forehand Sabalenka. Forehand Rybakina into the forehand Sabalenka. Rybakina forehand. It goes long, and it's advantage Sabalenka. All right. Carlos and Sinner are going to be in the audience watching the match. Why? Why would they be there? That seems crazy. Carlos is probably not even in China. He didn't even go to China. Why would he go? He didn't even play in China this year. Why would he go to China to watch Medvedev? What was that? That's so weird. If that was a joke, it was a bad joke. Yeah, Sinner would have left the day he lost. So, like, what do you mean? Sinner's in Monte Carlo. Yeah. I think Alcaraz is playing golf in Spain. Didn't he play a golf? Alcaraz is playing golf in Spain. Like, he's not even... Like, why would he be there? Federer might be there. I was trying to be funny. Look, leave the jokes to me. As that goes out by Sabalenka, deuce. Why WTA Finals points so unfair? Rybakina and Pegula get less. You okay? Somebody get the tissues. Deuce. Sabalenka serves a fault. Second serve. Second serve. The backhand of Rybakina. Backhand out from Sabalenka. Rybakina goes down the line to the forehand of Sabalenka. Into the forehand of Rybakina. Sabalenka forehand cross-court winner. Advantage Sabalenka. I'm a Rybakina fan. I'm not even crying. Yeah, exactly. What's going on? Advantage Sabalenka. She hits a forehand, comes to the net. Oh, and then Rybakina hits a passing shot winner. Deuce. All right, deuce. Sabalenka with a great serve. And it's advantage Sabalenka. Take the lead. Sabalenka holds with a couple of good serves. And it is 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. All right. All right. Rybakina beat Sabalenka actually very easily in Cincinnati. Yeah. That is true. Demolished her, in fact. demolished her in that match. It's very impressive. All right. All right, so on a serious note, so that guy that was asking yesterday and the day before and the day before and today about why points are so different, it's because Wuhan is not part of it's not part of the best 6 1000s. So unlike the men's side where all the 1000s count, or pretty much they all count except for Monte Carlo, depending, Wuhan, along with the other 9 1000s, is not considered. Well, it is considered a big tournament, but it's not. So there's 6 events on the WTA 1000s that count for your ranking, plus 1 extra, and then there's the best 7 of every other tournament. So it might be 1000, but 500, 250, right? Because there's only 6 that are counted, Paolini, her worst 1000 result is 65 points. What was the question? I don't even know. What was your question? What are you crying about? So it would be because of that. Because it's because Paolini's worst result in her points out of the 18 tournaments she's played is a 1-pointer where she lost in a round of 16 somewhere, which was in Stuttgart this year, I think, or no, it was in Berlin. So that's why she's getting more points than Rybakina, because Rybakina's worst result that she's going to replace Wuhan with is 65 points. I know it's confusing. I'm confused already, but it's because the worst result Paolini's had is she's replacing with Wuhan, so there's more points for her to gain because she's only got a 1-pointer that she has to replace. Whereas Pegula and Rybakina, they've got to replace more points. So when I say replace, let's say Rybakina wins a tournament, she gets 1,000 points, but she'll lose her worst result, which is 65 points. So she'll lose 65, but add the 1,000. But you still lose 65, right? You don't just add an extra 1,000 because you only have, 18 tournaments that count for your ranking? Is it 18? 10, 11. Yeah, 18 tournaments. So if you played 20 tournaments, 2 of the tournaments are not going to count. The worst 2 get dropped off depending on if they're a slam, or depending on what level. But yeah, the 2 worst get dropped off. So that's why Rybakina is getting less points this week, because Paolini has a 1-point tournament that she has to get rid of to replace with Wuhan. So even if she wins Wuhan, she'll only get 999 points. She won't get 1,000 points exactly. Am I making sense? I know it's hard. More confused now. Well, blame the guy who kept asking questions. Get it? Got it? Good. I just say yes. Good. 40-30. All right, as that goes out by Rybakina, and it's deuce. All right, ace from Rybakina. So basically, you can keep the results from 18 events. Yes. Yes. All right, advantage for Rybakina. She tries to take the... Oh, she does hold. All right, 2-0. All right, okay, I know this is, again, you made me do this. We're going down a rabbit hole. Let me show you a graph that might actually explain things better, and then we can move on. We'll do it at the change events. 2-0. As Sabalenka 15 love. Just to clarify for that one guy who asked the question 100 times and now he gets his answer. And then you can leave me alone. All right, 15 love. The return goes in the forehand of Sabalenka. Sabalenka puts away 30 love. By the way, Ekanch, if you ask me this question again tomorrow or later today, I am going to lose it. So you better be paying attention to writing notes, because this is because of you. I'm answering this question in such detail and boring everybody because of you. So you need to pay attention, because if you come in later today and you go, but Cam, it's not fair, I'll lose it. I will lose it. I will lose it. 40 love. Yeah, Morven, you've explained it very well. I'll just show it as well, because some people might not know how the rankings are made up or what they're made up of. Oh, good, you're still here. Thank God. Pay attention. All right, Sabalenka holds 3-2. Here we go. Let's have a look at the... so this is what the rankings are looking like, okay? So you've got 18 tournaments. This is throughout 2025, right? 18 tournaments count towards your ranking. Now, you can see here, someone like a Pegula, she's played 22 tournaments, but only her best 18 results. And not just her best, because you can see there, Grand Slams, they all count. You have to, if you don't play a Grand Slam, such as Bencic didn't play the French, you get a big 0, right? So you have, if you play all the Grand Slams, you'll get all those points. The best 6 combined 1000s are not just any 1000. It's specific ones. So I think it's Indian Wells, Miami. What is it? It says it up here. There we go. It goes Indian Wells, Miami, Madrid, Rome, Montreal, Cincinnati, or Montreal/Toronto, Cincinnati, or Beijing, right? So that is what those are. And then the best 1000 tournament of the following 3 is the 7th one, right? Which is what this best WTA only means. So that's where the other one comes in. Now, then there's the best other 7. So that's all the other tournaments that I didn't mention, right? So any of the other tournaments, it could be 250, it could be 500, it can be, it can be a 1000. So the reason why Rybakina is not getting as many points as Paolini this week is because of this. So Paolini's best other result, her worst best result, whatever you want to say, is 1 point, right? Whereas Rybakina is trying to get rid of this 180. Right? So whatever Paolini wins, right? Whatever Paolini wins in this tournament is going to replace this result. It's either this one or this one, but we'll go with this one because that's the math. So that is why Rybakina this week is getting 100, because if you go 108 minus 1, that is why Rybakina is making 107 points less. Because she doesn't have any spots left where she can add an extra tournament, right? So one of these results have to go, and it's her worst result. So she's overcoming her worst result. So that is why, and you can see here Pegula, right? Pegula, 108 as well. So that is why Paolini is getting more points this week than Pegula and Rybakina, because she's trying to replace this 1, and they're trying to replace this 108. The end. Yeah, that was like year 3 of tennis knowledge. That's a super deep dive. There you go. You got it? Good. Good. And by the way, just one last thing, because just to clarify. So the rankings could change again, because this WTA one only is the best of Dubai, Doha, or Wuhan, right? So if you win Wuhan, then this is where it will go, I'm pretty sure. And then this result will go back here for Paolini, and then this will get replaced. Because at the moment, this is Wuhan, I think. For Paolini, maybe. But yeah, so this event is the best of those three 1000s I mentioned. So the best WTA only is best of either Dubai, whatever. Dubai, Wuhan, or Doha. So if you lose first round of Dubai, first round Doha, but you win Wuhan, then that goes in this category here. If you don't do that, and it doesn't, let's say you made a semi in Dubai, and Wuhan you made the quarters, then Wuhan would go here, and Dubai would go there. So it could make it like by the end of the week. That's why the live rankings, they're great, but they also can the official rankings on Monday will clear up the math. But use the live rankings as a guide, not as it's always a guide until Monday when we get the official rank, because the WTA have them do the math. And so it's like tracking rankings live during a week. Things change so dramatically, So it's better to just go, you know what? Let's just wait till Monday. All right, 40-30. Why was Sabalenka an underdog for this match? I don't know. 40-30. Because she lost badly in the last time they played, maybe? I don't know. All right, as we get to 3-all. Back to Sabalenka. So there you go. Hopefully that explains things a little bit. I know it's tricky. It sucks because the men's rankings are different again. So, like, you can't just use that principle and go, oh, well, then the men's side of it. No, they do their own thing where it's like 18, I think it's like 19 tournaments, blah, blah, blah. 1000s are all included or whatever. It's like, yeah. On the men's side, it's like a whole different thing, which is annoying because it'd be nice if they were both the same so we could just understand it. We just have to learn one set of rules. But that's not how it works. Anyways, 3-0. Sabalenka gets a backhand winner. 15 love. ATP counts all slams and the Masters, then the best of the rest. Yeah. I think that's a better idea. I think the men's rankings are a little bit easier to understand because then you go, oh, all the 1000s count. Whereas on the women's side, it's like, oh, it's only these 1000s, but then these ones count only in this situation. It's like, why are we complicating it? Why can't we just make it? I think Federer was talking about this when he was talking about the court speed. Sabalenka gets a winner. It's 30 love. Lovely drop shot. Because back in, what was Federer saying? What was Federer talking about with the rankings in, was it 2008? 2008 was all the 1000s. Points were so weird back then because it wasn't 1000. It was everything was with 100 points. They really simplified it by making it just 100 points instead of 1000 back in the day. Yeah, where was Federer talking about? Was he talking about 2005 maybe? Because everything was 18 tournaments. I don't know what he was referring to when he said it was only 12 tournaments or something. Because it was always 18. As far as I can tell. Or was it 2000? Maybe it was 2010. Yeah, it seemed like it was always 18. Oh, but they cut it up into 4 500s, 2 250s. So you had to play 250s to get points for it. That's interesting. That was back in 2010. Interesting. Anyways, 30 all. As we're back in now from maybe in the 90s he was talking about. Yeah, maybe he was. 30 all. As it'll find now from Rybakina goes long. We're going to break point. 30-40. So yeah, I think the 2015, around 2015 is when they started doing what they do currently. Sorry, 40-30, my bad. I thought Rybakina was serving. 40-30, my bad. As it'll forehand down the line of the backhand slice, Rybakina volley from Sabalenka. Rybakina gets a pass. Sabalenka with a volley, but Rybakina volleys it long. Sabalenka holds 4-3. She stays in front. So yeah, at the moment on the men's side, the way it works is the 4 Grand Slams, 8 1,000 tournaments, everything except for Monte Carlo counts, and then the 7 best tournaments after that. So the only player that I can see here that has played all of those events is Zverev. And Shelton, de Minaur, and Musetti so far. Djokovic, Sinner, and Alcaraz have taken off multiple 1,000s. Still, they dominate. If you win the tournament you play, then you don't have to play everything. But yeah, Zverev. I don't know why Zverev's Indian Wells got kicked out. I don't know why that happened. It's weird. Why it doesn't count. Zverev's played 21 tournaments compared to Sinner's 9 tournaments, and Sinner's already qualified and Zverev's not. That's crazy. That is crazy. Zverev has played 21 tournaments. Fritz has played 20 so far. Shelton 20. de Minaur 20. Djokovic 12. Sinner's played 9. And Alcaraz has played 14. And Draper's only played 11. He's not going to play, but even with 11, he's still number 9. So even Draper's been very impressive. And then Felix has played 23, and he's at number 10. And then Rublev's played 24. Bublik's played 25 tournaments this year so far. That's crazy. Yeah, Alcaraz only played 14. But he's won 8 of the titles times that he's played for. 8 of the 14 he's played, he's won. Plus 2 Grand Slams obviously helps. Now, Zverev hasn't qualified yet. He's not yet. He'll qualify probably. By the way, if Djokovic wins tomorrow, he will qualify. Pretty much. Zverev is probably going to qualify. Again, if you get about 3,500 points, if you get over 4,000 points, you pretty much qualify. It's you'd be very unlucky to get over 4,000 points and not qualify unless you're maybe Mirra Andreeva this week. But yeah, about over 4,000 usually get you in. All right, 15 all. Yeah, if Djokovic wins Shanghai, he'll qualify. But I think if Djokovic makes the final and de Minaur loses, then that should be enough. I'm pretty sure. Or FAA and de Minaur lose, I think that might be enough. All right, 15-all. Djokovic qualifying basically from playing slams and 1000s is kind of hilarious. Yeah. It is. But Djokovic said he might play, but he's not like committed yet. 15-30. And the return goes back into Rybakina. Sabalenka forehand into the forehand of Rybakina. To the forehand of Sabalenka as Rybakina forehand into the net. And it's 15-40. Six King Slam is next week. $15.40. By the way, Chad, I went for a run today. I went 5 kilometers again today. I was so slow though today. So windy outside. Running in the wind is so hard. So I did, like my legs were burning. Backhand into the slice of Sabalenka, and then a drive volley winner by Rybakina, 30-40. My legs were so sore. And I was just like running into like a headwind, and it was just like, I'm running so, like I felt like I was walking. It was horrible. I was just like, ah. And it's like humid outside, so it's just, yeah, it's a tough day. But I went 5K, so I'm happy. I'll take it. 30-40. I was only going to run 3, and then I'm like, I'll keep going. All right. Sabalenka hits a winner down the line. And she breaks. 5-3. 5K under 30 minutes. No, it was over 30 minutes. Like I said, I was slow. I was slow today. 5K under 30 minutes will probably be my goal eventually, but I'm just trying to like be consistent, you know? I don't really care about my time as long as I just consistently go outside. All right, first break, but now she's serving for the set. Sabalenka, 15-love. $15-love. By the way, Federer calling for change of court speed wasn't because he doesn't like baseline rallies. It's because he wants different players to have different advantages, like their weapons to be, you know, rather than everybody having to be an all-round player, he wanted players, this is what I heard from it, like he wants it, yeah, sometimes there's going to be serve bots and they're going to make, you know, they're going to win the titles, right? But it's better than having everyone being a baseline all-rounder, and that's all you can do. As Sabalenka hits a 4 down the line, it's 40-love. Because I think, like, again, I'm going to have to watch the whole thing because I haven't watched the whole thing, but I've only heard, like, the main things. But I don't think it was referring to court speeds in general, like every court. I think it was referring to the slams and the surface, like the surfaces, not the, like, you know, not like all the hard courts. Because, yeah, there's variation in the hard courts, but when you go to Wimbledon, French Open, US Open, having those courts, I think that's what his criticism was, maybe. More than it was like, oh, well, all the 1000s are the same. I think he was talking about Grand Slams. Sabalenka double faults, 40-15. Like, it'd be nice to have Wimbledon be fast and then somebody with a big serve having a good run and knocking out Alcaraz or Sinner, like, you know, or pushing them, right? Making them have to work for it. And then having a really slow French Open would be great too, because then, you know, it would get that classic clay court tennis. I think that's what he might have been referring to. But again, I got to watch the whole thing. I just haven't had the time to watch a whole podcast. As we get a let from Sabalenka. (40-15). As we get a return from Rybakina. Oh, it's a winner. Into the corner. Lovely shot. And it's 40-30. And I heard the other thing that he said was, he said, you'd have guys that would be like only play clay, and then there was other guys who would only play fast courts, and then they'd have to meet at times, and then that was the fun clash. So maybe he was referring to the rankings as well. Like, how the ranking system kind of makes you play a certain way, as that goes out by Rybakina. And it's 6-3. You can't just be a clay court merchant and then all of a sudden, you can't afford to do that anymore, or as much anymore. You can't just win on the clay and then qualify for the ATP Finals and then go play that. Well, maybe you can, but it's not. You have to be able to play on hard courts and clay and. By the way, Rude is not a clay court merchant. He made a US Open final. What do you mean? He made a Miami final. I mean, Rude is not a clay court merchant. But I would love to see variety. I've been watching tennis since the serve volley died. And as much as people hate on serve bots and think it's boring, it's not so much serve bots versus serve bots. Those matches are not fun. I get it. But it's more having someone who's got a massive serve on a fast court versus somebody who has a great return. That's the variety. That's what makes it fun. We don't want to see, people with big serves just playing each other and getting to tie breaks and serving aces and not playing rallies. That's not what variety is. That's not variety. It's about getting a defensive guy like Demonor against a guy like Opelka. I love that matchup. Every time they play, I'm so interested to see how it goes, because that is the exact contrast that tennis would need. And then there's everything in between, right? You got a defensive speedster versus a big serving monster, and then like everyone in between, with different weapons. Some have big serves, some have foot speed, some have great drop shots, some have great volleys. That's the variety that that I think we don't have. And it's probably just not just the court speed. I think it's multiple reasons. One of those reasons is because the three guys that dominated the game, two of those guys were defensive baseline guys. And everybody copied them. Zverev, Medvedev, even Fritz, right? They would have all looked at, Novak Djokovic and said, hey, if I want to win a slam, I've got to play like that guy. I love that we're getting all these new guys coming in that are more aggressive, though. It's just that they're not as consistent as Alcaraz and Sinner yet. Rude's resume is underrated? Oh, yeah. He always will be. All right, Rybakina's back from the bathroom, and we will get the second set underway. But yeah. I don't think there's an easy answer, though. I don't think there's a simple answer. I don't think court speed changing is the only way. I think at some point we've also got to just be like, well, Sinner and Alcaraz are better than everybody. right? Changing the court speed to try and nerf them or trying to help others is not going to work because they're just that much better than everyone. And what you want to penalize them for being good? I mean, you can't really do that, can you? You don't want to do that because then what? You drag their level down. Why? They're playing great. It sucks that they're the only two players that are dominating, and you want to see them be challenged, and we want to see maybe more variety in champion, right? And more contenders, because at the moment it's just like those two guys, and unless something happens, right? But you want to see like on the WTA where there's a lot of players that could win. Look at this week, right? There's a lot of players. But maybe it's on the players below those guys. Maybe it's on the guys below Alcaraz and Sinner that have to not lift to their level, but have to be better against players below them. And I know this is harsh because this week, it's been a tough week for everybody. But, the players behind Sinner and Alcaraz outside of Djokovic, Zverev, Fritz, Shelton, de Minaur, Musetti, Draper, Rune, Ruud, Hashanov, FAA, Rublev, all those guys need to not lose to anyone outside the top 20, right? They need to not get upset. And then we can see them go on to play each other and then go on to play Alcaraz and Sinner, right? That is, and Zverev has been like that. Fritz has been great, right? That's why Fritz has been great over the last, 12 months. He's been the guy outside of Djokovic that's kind of gotten there, but, I think that the guys inside the top 20 or even the top 15, they need to not lose to guys outside the top 20. Once every maybe once, but it can't be having multiple losses from guys outside the top 20. The consistency has to be at least there. You might lose to Sinner and Alcaraz all the time, but at least don't lose to the guys below you. Which is what on the WTA, that doesn't happen, right? Look at this week, right? Quarterfinals, right? The only player, the seeds that have lost to someone lower ranked than them is Andreeva, but she's still getting started. Navarro lost first round, but her season's been a bit all over the place. Mukova retired, so that's not her fault. Schneider's been having a bit of a crazy year as well, but she's just getting started as well. And Osaka lost to Noskova, but Noskova's having a great couple of weeks, so there's nothing wrong with that. Break, by the way. So it's funny because again, when we talk consistency on the WTA, people are going to be like, but they get broken all the time. Okay, but when it comes to the top players in the world, they've been this week only losing to players that are higher ranked. Even now. Sabalenka's higher ranked than Rybakina. She's, the higher ranked player's been winning most of the time. That's consistency too, right? Whereas on the men's side, in Shanghai, I don't have any players that are ranked higher beaten lost to anybody. Rune beating Pirikar and Humbert, right? But then he lost to Vacherov, so you're like, okay, great. Djokovic obviously winning his matches. He's beating higher ranked players. Musetti beat Didiri, who was he was higher ranked. Lehechka took out Shapovalov, who was higher. He was higher ranked. de Minaur's been beating guys that are lower ranked than him. So it's kind of a bit of a mixture. But most of the time, the lower ranked players are beating the top guys. Rinderknecht beating Zverev, right? GMP beating Fritz. Obviously, Sinner having to retire. Vacherov taking out Rune was yesterday. FAA beating Musetti, even though they're close. Still, the lower ranked player won. That's where the guys, and maybe it's because it's more competitive between 15 and 5 and 50. Maybe that's why on the men's side. On the women's side, maybe there's a bit more of a gap between top 20 and everybody else. Again, I don't have all the answers. We're trying to figure it out. 15-0. As we got a fault from Sabalenka, second serve. Hey, Will, thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate it. By the way, thank you, Peaches. I don't know if you're probably not here. Thank you for the 5 gifted yesterday. I saw it at the very end of the stream. So thank you for the 5 gifted. And also, thank you, Benny, for the 2 years as well. Sorry I missed that yesterday. Yesterday was a hectic time. All right, Sabalenka too strong. It's 30-15. Uh, 30-15. And the return goes the net from Rybakina. 40-15. The slow court argument is dust when they can't even make the finals. Yeah. And I think it's been kind of disproven anyway. I think that was disproven that it's not just all the courts are slow. Because it's not true. Cincinnati's fast. Miami's fast. US Open's got faster. Australian Open's always been quick. It's just that Shanghai this week has gone from fast to slow, and people don't like that. Indian Wells has always been slow. The clay courts are slow. Paris indoors will be interesting, whether if they've changed venue, they change court speed, or if they maintain that quick indoor court. But yeah, I think it's been disproven that the court speeds are all the same. They might be not as wildly different as they were. There might not be like an ultra slow hard court and a super quick lightning fast. So the gap might be a little bit closer, you know what I mean? So the fastest court is not that much, not as fast as it used to be. And it's like the gap's kind of close. Everything's a little bit more medium pace, not ultra slow and ultra fast. There's no, you know what I mean? Like we haven't got one that's like, serve bot paradise and one that's like a 50 rally slug, right? It's sort of everything's sort of gotten a little quicker on the slow side and a little slower on the fast side, right? So then it's sort of a bit more, everything's a bit more middle. But there's still variants, variations in that. It's not just like everything's, clay. I love 15. But a court speed conversation is just so it's been done to death the last couple of weeks anyway. It's just been such a hot topic, and then also it's like, well, what are we arguing? What are we trying to do? What are we trying to fix? Like what are we talking about? Like what's the answer rather than just like, hey, the problem's this. Okay, well, what do we do? What's the answer? What's the solution? I love 30. Sabalenka is playing much, much better. This might be the best match she's ever played against Rybakina. Score-wise, it's the most dominant she's been against Rybakina ever in their 12 meetings. All right, backhand from Sabalenka goes long. 15-30. Chet, you ever having a conversation at like a party or something with a group of people, and then somebody just walks into the party and just start rambling about things that you're not even on topic? Anyone have you ever had that before? Where you're like, hey, let's talk about this thing, and everyone's like, yeah, we're discussing this thing, and then somebody walks in and is like, blah, and you're like, not even integrating into the topic, just completely talking about something different. Nobody else is talking about it. It's weird. 30-0. Anybody else get that vibe? Don't go to parties? Well, just trust me. If you go to a party, sometimes there's those people that just are just rambling to themselves in the corner, and then they try and insert themselves into a conversation, but they don't really, they just want to change the topic. They don't want to talk about what you're talking about. So it's not really a conversation. It's just kind of like just a random like, hey everybody, let's talk about this other thing. And you're like, no, we're talking about this thing. Like, what are you doing? And I can see it in chat, and it's weird. So, especially when no one's replying to the person, I'll just see like they're just typing the same, just random things. And I'm looking and I'm like, you're not asking questions. Nobody's replying to your statements. But it's like, what are you doing? You're just clogging the chat up. Please stop doing that. Because it's not really useful. And they're not even listening, so. But chat, you know who I'm talking about. You can see it. You can see what's going on. It's annoying. Every time I look, I'm like, okay, what's everyone saying? Oh, there's one person just like, blah, blah, blah. Please stop doing that. As with a forehand, into the forehand of Sabalenka, forehand now from Rybakina. And Sabalenka gets it out, advantage Rybakina. The answer is more variation is needed to be in tennis, to be too unpredictable and interesting. The answer is more variation in tennis needed for the tennis to be unpredictable and interesting. Okay. All right. Rybakina's on the board 2-1. Are we planning to watch Felix? No. I wasn't even going to watch Medvedev Demonor, but I kind of feel obliged to do it. But I wasn't even going to watch that. I was like, I'm not watching that. I don't want to put myself through watching that. But I feel like it's necessary, so I am forcing myself to watch that. But no, we're not watching Felix. Sorry. Medvedev Demonor would be a good match. Well, I hope so. I mean, define good match. Final set tiebreak after 4 hours. Like all I can tell you is that I'm watching Swiatek versus Pellini, and Medvedev and Demonor will be on at the. We're doing a double header, but I'm not. That'll be just happening in the background. I'm about as excited for Medvedev Demonor as I am for Felix versus Medvedev. I just think two guys that are just going to grind it out. It's not my. I'm not a fan of that style. You know, I'm not. I don't like that tennis. That tennis annoys me. Two guys just waiting for somebody to miss. That's boring. So boring. It's different when one guy's like that, and then you got Alcaraz on the other side who's trying to hit winners. That's great. I love that. But two guys just trying to like outlast each other, I'm like, nah. I don't want to. Like, that's so boring to commentate too, because it's just the same. So hopefully Demon's a bit more aggressive, which he has been. But I'm just not a fan of like two brick walls playing against each other. It's just not entertaining to me anymore. Maybe it was like 10 years ago, but like, see, the reason why I love Leighton is because he was a baseline grinder in a world full of attacking, aggressive players like serve volleys and stuff. That's why I love watching Leighton, because he was the defensive guy. But when he plays another brick wall, it gets a little stale, right? Whereas I loved like watching him play Roddick. I loved watching him play Federer, or sometimes. Actually never, but I watched it anyway. I love seeing Leighton play those like guys that would attack, so then he could show his defensive skills. But when you're playing against somebody else who's also playing great defensively, two defenders playing each other, it's just like waiting for someone to miss. And it's like, that's not fun. And also in like 2002, Hewitt versus like Ferrero or one of those other defensive guys, it was sort of like new to see two defenders, and the athleticism was a different thing. Whereas like 20 years later, we've seen so many defensive players play against so many other defensive players, and we've seen those 50-shot rallies, and we've seen it's like all been done. We've already seen all that shit. So I'm like, okay, it's not interesting anymore. It was interesting back then because everybody was aggressive and playing serve volleys and whatever. And then, seeing Leighton play against, somebody else defensively, you would be like, oh my God, 50-shot rally? That's crazy. Who's going to whose body's going to cramp or whatever. But now it's like, I'm not a fan. It's kind of mid. That's why we didn't watch Tien versus Medvedev, because it's like, it was fun at the Australian Open, but I don't want to watch those guys play. Was it a good match or was it a close match? Like, did you watch that and go, wow, that was really good? The rally, like, highlights were great. Oh my God, I was sitting on the edge of my seat the whole time. But did you watch the highlights? Because I feel like it's one of those matches where you're like, well, the score was close and the highlights were interesting. But did you watch the entire thing? There was also drama, which Medvedev brings, which makes it fun, I guess. But like Tien versus Medi, brutal rallies and drama. Well, that does make it interesting. Then there you go. That can make it for a good match then. All right. 3-1, by the way. But those two guys, the way they play, I mean, we watched it at the Australian Open. It was fine, but I'm not a fan of that style. Commentating that style is not fun. Like, sitting here and watching those two guys play and grind it out, it's fine to watch it on my own, but when I'm doing streams, it's not very entertaining to me. I don't get like super fired up over it as much as I do with the guys who get aggressive and play hit winners and stuff. I'll watch it like by myself. It's fine, but streaming it's hard because it's just like forehand, backhand, and then all right, 1 point down, 5 minutes later, all right, next one. Like it's not very entertaining to me. It makes my job hard. But I respect that style and I respect that game, but doing streams like those are not fun. That's why I like watching Murray, grind it out. It's never fun on stream. Like streaming those matches is not as fun. And we'll find out that with De Minaur tonight. De Minaur versus Medi. Because De Minaur is a better version of Tien. So it's probably going to be a similar style. Yeah, Murray versus Kokkinakis 5 hours, yeah. It's more like Murray versus RBA. We watched that back in the day, and that was a grind. All right, 40-15. I mean, watching Zverev Medvedev, we didn't do that either because I knew like that could be just painful to watch. It's just not fun. I want to do fun streams, and yeah, okay, we're gonna watch Grand Slams and stuff. But I think next year the focus will be, instead of watching matches we think are going to be good, it's like I just want to watch players that I like to watch, and players that are exciting and entertaining and fun. And not saying that those guys aren't, but I don't really want to watch those grindy matches next year. I'd rather watch like a 2-hour, brawl than a 3.5 hour grind, which isn't fun for anybody. All right, Deuce. From 40 Love, by the way. Or clash of styles. Maybe that's better. Rather than having two guys play the same style, I don't want to watch that. I'd rather watch somebody who's like got a big game and somebody who's defensive. Like that's more interesting. And that's more fun to see like those styles. Whereas if it's just like two guys grinding the baseline, I don't want to see that. I don't want to watch that. Next year, I don't want to watch those matches. Because those are the matches that are the hardest to watch and the hardest to get through. And then we could watch other things. Advantage Sabalenka from 40 Love down. She's come back. Yeah, like Sigmund Tormo. We're not watching. Yeah. All right, advantage Sabalenka to take the double break. That's a fault second serve. I think might be the play next year. I don't mind watching 2 serve bots because at least it's quick. But I'd rather watch like a Shelton versus Zverev. As that goes out by Rybakina. Wow. From 40 love, Sabalenka takes the break and gets a double break 4-1. I'd rather do that. And I know some of you are gonna be annoyed and you go, oh, but Cam, we gotta watch Zverev and we gotta watch Medvedev and stuff. We will. I just want to watch them play against a certain player. I don't want to watch them play against each other. Or I don't want to watch them play against other types, same types. You know what I mean? I want to see Medvedev taking on like an aggressive, like a Lehechka, right? Or a Runa, or maybe even like a Shelton versus Medvedev or a Shelton versus Zverev, where you've got a guy who's going out there trying to hit winners and the other guy's trying to defend that. That's way more fun because also it's way more fun to talk about strategically. Whereas when 2 guys are just grinding the baseline, there's no strategy. It's just get the ball back as many times as you can and hopefully the other guy doesn't... Hopefully you don't miss before he does. That's athleticism is great to watch, but that's not interesting. For me, that's not interesting. I'd rather see one guy whose style is defensive and a guy who's trying to break through the wall, and that's way more fun. We can talk way more about that stuff. Contrasting styles are more entertaining? Yeah. Rybakina retires stop. Hey, bro, you shouldn't have bet on it, mate. All right, 4-1, double break. All right. Sabalenka misses the first point, love 15. Love 15. $15. Sabalenka wins the second point. The return goes in front of Sabalenka. Sabalenka gets a wide. All right, 15-30. Sabalenka serves a fault, second serve. And Sabalenka double faults, all right? 15-40. Chance to get one of the breaks back. As Rybakina hits it out in the return. 30-40. Not looking forward to the Coco match. Laura is annoying to watch. Yeah. That's part of the reason why we're not watching Coco. Because I don't want to watch her play Sigmund. It's so hard. That's a tough match. That's a tough match to watch. As Rybakina passing shot volley from Sabalenka in the net. All right, Rybakina gets a break back. I love watching Coco, and I defend her to the death because she gets so much unnecessary hate. But I can't bring myself to watch that one because I know what's going to happen. Sigmund's going to grind. Coco's probably going to make some errors because Sigmund is just that type of player. It's going to go for like 3 hours. It's going to be a grind. That is going to be a grind. It's going to be a grind. And I hope Coco wins, though. I really hope Coco wins. And I hope she wins in straights. And I hope it's easier than I think. But because I want to watch Coco play against Swiatek. Because we haven't had that match for a long time. And I really want to see that. But I don't want to watch Coco play against Sigmund. I don't want to watch that. That match is... That doesn't feel like fun. It's not going to be fun. Hey, thank you, Ryan, for jumping over from Twitch. Appreciate it. All right, 15. Oh, Rybakina has got one of the breaks back. All right. We get an ace from Rybakina. It's 30-15. All right, 40-15. As Rybakina serves a fault, second serve. And the return goes out by Sabalenka. Rybakina holds. Sabalenka still leads with a break 4-3 in the second. All right. Yeah, Sigmund. Yeah, she annoyed Coco in the US exactly. All right. Sigmund is one of the best net players out there. She's a great doubles player. But and look, for what she does and how she plays, at 38 years old is incredible. All right. Today, Palini has a big chance to beat Swiatek. Maybe. We'll be watching that later. That starts in a few hours. Sabalenka needs to be mentally strong now. Yeah. All right. All right. Sabalenka with a break still. One break now. She had 2 breaks before. And it's 15 love. Sabalenka double faults, 15-0. All right, 15-0. There's a bit of backhand to backhand rally. Down the line to the forehand of Rybakina. Forehand now from Sabalenka. Then Rybakina goes down the line wide. And it's 30-15. Right, 30-15. There's a bit of fault. Second serve. Double fault again. Oh my God. 30-0. Sabalenka yelling at herself. 2 double faults in the game. 30-0. Oh, by the way, Chad, I started reading Ozzy Osbourne's autobiography. I reckon reading chat has actually improved my reading skills. Because I'm like, oh man, I haven't read a book for so long. I'm going to be so slow at reading. I read chat every day. I read all the time. It's very good, by the way. I'm already 2 chapters in. I couldn't put it down. 4 now from Rybakina as a winner, 30-40. To get back on serve. But yeah, I was like, it was like 1:30 in the morning, and I was like, I don't want to start reading this. And then I'm like, I'll read 1 chapter. I was reading, I was like, I'll read another chapter. And then it was 2:30 and then I'm like, I should go to bed. Very good, though. Very good. Anyways, to get back on serve, it's 4-1 double break. Now Sabalenka with double faults and a little Rybakina magic. And here we are. Is Rybakina from Sabalenka, volley in the net by Rybakina. That was a great pickup by Rybakina, but couldn't get that lunging volley. Deuce. Will I go to the Ashes this year? No, I can't afford that shit. That is not happening. I cannot afford to do that. All right, Sabalenka with a great serve. Needed that. Advantage, Sabalenka. As a return goes into the forehand of Sabalenka, backing up. Goes out and Sabalenka holds. Tough hold, but she holds. All right, 5-3 Sabalenka. All right, Rybakina is going to serve to stay in the match. As Rybakina in the net, love 15. Love 15. Rybakina serves again. Nice. 15-0. $15-all. As Rybakina serves a fault, second serve. As the return goes back in of Rybakina. Sabalenka too strong. Rybakina in the net. $15-30. As the return goes to forehand of Rybakina. Backhand at Sabalenka. Rybakina forehand pass. Too good. 30-all. Rybakina hanging on. 30-all. As return goes to forehand of Rybakina. Forehand of Sabalenka. As Rybakina slice. Goes into the forehand of Sabalenka. She puts it away. All right, 30-40. Sabalenka to take the win. Is Rybakina's ace count down this year? No. She's still the number one. She's hit over 400 aces this year. Last year she served 358, so she's more. Definitely more this year, but she's also played more. All right, 30-40. Second serve. Into the backhand of Sabalenka, forehand Rybakina. Goes long, Sabalenka wins. That was the most straightforward victory that Sabalenka's ever had against Rybakina. First straight sets match against Rybakina as well. And maybe we'll see them play again in a couple of weeks because they're going to be playing, obviously, if Rybakina qualifies at the WTA Finals. But Sabalenka wins, gets it done in straights, and moves on to the semifinals where she'll take on Pegula. Oh, we're getting a rematch of that US Open semi. Remember that one? One of the best matches of the tournament. That quality was insane. So I'm excited that we get that one. No one's talking about Pegula, by the way. She's sneaky. No one's talking about Pegula. But Pegula Sabalenka, that is a great matchup. Great matchup. All right. Now, does Pegula qualify with that result? Or is it not yet? No, she does. So Pegula now qualifies unofficially for the WTA Finals with that result. So there you go. There you go. Pegula's not in good form. She's into the semifinals of a 1,000. What do you mean? She beat Alexandra Eala. She made the semis of the US Open. What do you mean? Do you mean last week she didn't play as well as she has? Last year, Beijing made the semis as well. Hello? She lost to Noskova with a match after having a match point. That's just unlucky. What do you mean she's not in good form? Hello? What are you talking about? Nah, Paolini hasn't qualified. Paolini doesn't qualify. Yet. There's still tournaments next week and the week after. Paolini and Rybakina are still fighting for, and Andreeva are still fighting for the last spots. 20th win for Sabalenka and Wuhan, crazy. Pegula last 7 matches, 3 setters. Cool. So that's bad for her then? She's been in not good form then? What, consistently making semifinals? Not good enough? It's the 3 setters that are getting you worried? But she's winning them, so does it matter? I mean, she's lost one of her last 6 matches that have gone 3 sets. I mean, and she had match points in that one. So, I mean, that's not bad. I don't think there's anything wrong. I mean, she's been playing fine. Yeah, she lost to Pellini. So, okay, her last... Since the US Open, she's lost to Sabalenka, Pellini, Rybakina, and Noskova. Why is she not in good form? I don't understand. Yeah, she still wins though, right? She beat lower players only. So, when you're in the top 4, most players are below you. Yeah. So what? Oh, she's only beat lower ranked players. Yeah, because she's number 4 in the world. Not many players are ahead of her. She can't play Sabalenka Swiatek every day. Yeah, 2 spots remaining. 3 players eligible, 2 spots left. Pellini beating Swiatek tonight would help her a lot. Would help Pellini, not qualify, but put her in a good position. Pegula's playing well, yeah. Is she dominating? No. She's not dominating. But she's winning. She's clutching out those matches, the Noskova match being the exception. Who's more underrated, Pellini or Pegula? Pegula. You're making me mad? Well, boo-hoo. I'm sorry, you said Pegula was not in good form. I'm just saying that she is. I'm telling you that she is in good form. And now you're mad that I corrected you? Sorry, but you were saying something that was incorrect. You're mad? Don't get mad. But yeah, Pegula's more underrated because people just write her off. Like, people just don't give her any credit. Pellini is underrated as well, but also Pellini, I feel like Pellini this year, after, last year where she, broke out, this year she's been very, surprisingly, I think for a lot of people, consistent, right? We thought, maybe Pellini would drop off because of the Grand Slam finals, but Pellini's still in the top 10. That's great. But Pegula, despite being like top 5 for the most part of the last few years, just nobody counts her. I mean, and look, I'm not saying I'm a part of the problem, right? Because we didn't even notice her this week, right? She's completely flown under the radar until tomorrow when she plays Sabalenka. But Pegula is, I think she's severely underrated. She can beat Sabalenka, she can beat Swiatek, she can beat Gauff. She can beat all of them, right? Consistently, at least. And she's competitive, at least consistently competitive against them. But people just totally forget that she's even playing. Super consistent. Yeah. Easygoing, no dramas, for sure. Rybakina is too entangled with the Vukov circus and coaching drama. Oh, can you not do that? That's annoying. I get it. You're upset she lost today, but it had nothing to do with her coach drama. What do you mean? Pellini is my favorite player in the past, but right now she beat Coco. That makes me unhappy. Bro, you got to lighten up. Getting mad at me, getting sad. Bro, just come on now. Always going to love the way Pellini plays and the intensity she brings. Oh, yeah, for sure. Pegula deserves a slam. That's all that's missing. She's a great athlete. I agree. Go outside. It's a nice day. Exactly. All right. Well, I'm leaving because I am going to take the opportunity for the next How many hours? We're like 4 hours until the next match. Jesus, all right. I'm going to take the next 4 hours to go and clean. And then we're going to watch Medvedev versus Demonor. But jump over there if you want to keep watching or keep hanging out. But we'll be back to watch those matches later. And then we've also got Swiatek Palini, which is going to be a lot of fun as well. Careful cleaning. Yeah, I'm not going to clean my kitchen. I'm just not even cleaning. It's just like rearranging furniture. It's like, just trying to make my house a little less chaotic. But thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys soon. Sabalenka, very impressive. Wins 3-3. And the best win she's ever had against Rybakina. Straight set, straightforward. She's into the semifinals to play Pegula tomorrow. I'll see you guys later.